right, a very good morning to you and you're welcome to the program. It's the 8th of April 2024 and today gives us another opportunity to go through the matters of the country. Let's go through the headlines of the newspapers as usual and then later we'll get into the discussion. Let's start with the Daily Graphic and it says Graphics Your Ghana, My Ghana program. NPP, NDC must prioritize public interest. Speakers. GTech directs universities to cease SHS satellite campus operations. Government increases cocoa producer prices. That is 33,120 per ton Ghana cedis. And then we also have 2,070 per bag. Complaint to Shraj with institutions treat. Complaint to Shraj when institutions treat you wrongly. Deputy Commissioner to Citizenry. The Ghanaian Times, stakeholders hold crunch meeting over energy crisis. Cocoa producer price at 2,070 effective April 5. Ghana seeks Italy's support to tackle security in sub-region. Ghana ranked best in governance in West Africa. World Economic Governance Index report. 6 arrested for staging kidnap of Presec student. I saw the story, I was surprised. My Presec and Spa. Daily Guide. Nana submits 20 names for Court of Appeal. Ghana's bullet trains arrive. Ejisu by-election. MPP clears 9 to contest. Cocoa price new, now at 2,070 cedis. 9 grabbed for spreading false missing pennies news. The New Crusading Guide. Farouk Olu Mahama charges Muslims to see themselves as one in humanity. Apologizes and retracts religion's hate comment. Elizabeth Kaki, man to Alan Chemanting. Honorable Murtala Mohammed praises Blaze investment in Ghana gas for Tamale AstroTurf. MMDCs denying planned protest against Natoshi. Jama North MPP Parliament candidates, Deputy Attorney General, others mourn Sinyane Mahine. Ashanti region is behind only one person for Baumia VIP. And that's Kuka speaking. RE, Teshin Youth Chief fingered in illegal land grab at East Legon. The Insight. Police accused of negligence as man 58 is stabbed in boundary dispute between Denchura and Domiabra. Economist slams government over undue dependence on IMF, World Bank handouts to cushion city. Acute water shortage, Tamale residents suffering now depend on dams for survival. What's rally behind Germany's unshakable support of Israel? And that's what's really behind Germany's unshakable support of Israel. The question. And GDLA commissions alternative routes to resolve land disputes. The Herald. Also, police extort 3,000 cedis after planting drugs on 2 men. Baumia promises Guta business-friendly administration. Akufo-Addo sails another partisanship to judiciary. 12 High Court judges, 7 lawyers sent to appeal court. I am from Mori. I am a fisherman. I drink akpatashi. Angry graphic MD asks workers not to joke with him. Was that a warning or a joke? The Informer. Good governance. Ghana tops all. New pricing guidelines. NPA remains focused authority. Let's examine their heads. Ajimandia urges. There's someone's picture there. I don't know if Professor Ajimandia is asking us to examine, because this is not fair. Ajimandia is saying that let's examine their heads. For you to bring one picture, it's not fair. The Informer is really unfair. So let's examine their heads. Afenyo Makin grabs top ECOWAS post. Gridco accuses ECG of not observing load management instructions. Okay. Now, the Daily Statesman. Ghana will have free, fair elections. Akufo-Addo assures. Bawumia pledges business-centric approach in government. No protest against Natoshi. Coca. Bawumia should be firm on VIP nomination. Producer price of cocoa up by 58%. Daily Searchlight. Sudden cocoa producer price hike. Is government cheating farmers? That's a question. Let's not stampede presidency in releasing KPMG reports on SML JRA contract. Martin Pebu. Ejisu NPP Primary Vetting Committee clears all 9 aspirants. Indian School of Business and Technology holds maiden congregation. I hear he gave $1,000 to each congregant. Wow. VIP leads government delegation to pay homage to late Sunyamahene. The Ghanaian publisher, MMDC, is exposed paid agenda against Toshi. Ghana tops in governance index. NHIA pays 180 million Ghana cedis claims. Ejisu by elections, MPP clears Nyantechi, 8 others. The custodian, John Mahama, exposed over one student, one tablet campaign. My government will be business friendly. Bawumia to Guta. Government to showcase achievements on Wednesday. Akufo-Addo solicits Italy's support to fight terrorism. Be firm on your running mate choice. Coca to Bawumia. So the showcase of achievements. Let me just read brief of it. Okay, so government is expected to launch a performance tracker as a way of ensuring transparency and accountability in the execution of its infrastructure projects across the country. So that's a performance structure we're talking about, right? The new finder. Ghana, Italy commit to advancing economic ties. Don't yield to external pressures in selecting running mates. Coca to Bawumia. Government to launch performance tracker on Wednesday. Cocoa price index up by 58.26%. And then finally, the Daily Post. It's a rip-off. Minority says cocoa farmers deserve 130K, not 33K per ton. Pro-NPP lawyer deactivates Facebook accounts after Akufo-Addo nominates him as Court of Appeal judge. Scholarship bonanza were in trouble if highest paid class are classified as needy. Level. All right, so that's it for the headlines of the papers. Let's take a breather. We'll be back shortly. You're welcome back. Just for the information, the show has started. It's started behind the scenes. So, yeah, I already have my guest in the studio with me. Haja Rabi Salifu is a Deputy Communications Director for the MPP. And also, you're welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Salaam alaikum.
Malaikum salam.
Ramadan.
I missed my outfit today.
Ramadan Mubarak.
It's not because I had them, so it's just because I don't know how to iron. So I was messed up. I was just a mess. Yes, and I didn't want to burn my dress. So
yeah, you don't have to burn your dress.
Yes, when I'm coming for the feast.
Yes, yes. Of course, yes, you have to wear.
Right,
yes.
Right. Thank you. Professor Benedicta Yariafosu Mensah is also a national communications team member of the NDC, and she's a lecturer as well. You're welcome. Good morning to you.
Thow was school? Great.
Are you okay with everything that's happening within the educational sector?
Not at all. As you all know, the educational sector is really getting messy, from the basic level up to the university level. In the sense that the basic level, for 4 years, they changed the curriculum, and it took government so long to be able to provide a textbook. And as I'm talking now, there are a number of schools, a lot of schools, who cannot get access to the textbooks. And then also the fact that because of the free SHS, it looks like the basic level have completely been forgotten. So there are a lot of challenges in the basic level. Coming to the secondary level, or second cycle institution, we know the problems there, from issue of no enough dormitories for our children, to lack of food, and the issue of not enough teachers in some schools because of this issue of licensure exam writing. Not just that, because of course there are people who wrote and they are still at home waiting for posting. So you can see that the education sector, I think, is a major challenge. They've put in place free SHS, a lot of students to go through the secondary level without, again, when it comes to the university level, they've not made adequate infrastructure or adequate provision for these students as they move to the university. So again, we are always having challenges of not enough lecture hall or increase in the size of the lecture halls. Okay. So there are times you are lecturing, especially undergrad students, there are people you find in the corridors of the lecture hall to listen to the lecture. And all this is as a result of the fact that we've not expanded or increased the facilities within the university, whilst we are churning out a lot of students to the university level. So you can see that the educational system is really struggling.
Okay, we will get into that because we also have some issues that I'm sure maybe this week, the Fourth Estate will release their full reports. We've already started doing the analysis of what has been released to the media, or specifically to Fourth Estate, because they applied through the right information. That is the Scholarship Secretariat, and some documents have been released to them. They're yet to, go through the document. I think, okay, let me have a picture of the document that was released from the Scholarship Secretariat to the Fourth Estate. Some, I think, big, I don't know if I should call them encyclopedia. I mean, and people have already started asking their question, right? That's it. So that's what Manasseh Azuri and the team, Fourth Estate, shared on social media, on their social media platforms and their websites, regarding documents that have been released by the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat in terms of the right to information on persons that have benefited from the scholarships till date, and that is the documents that were released. Now, there are some experts also in the industry, professionals, who are asking the question of why you did not release a soft copy, or in the era of digitalization, we did not, release just a soft copy of these documents to the Fourth Estate. But we'll get into the issue. Let me just do this quickly, and then I'll come back to the guest on the educational sector, maybe in general. Now, if you're desperate of getting toothpaste that will take care of your whole family and save money, then we recommend the all-round KEL 360 toothpaste for your family, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family an all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. And KEL 360 toothpaste is good for the kids, children, and adults. Let the family be proud when they step out and by constantly using the KEL 360 toothpaste. It brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh, bright breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste, and it's from the Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso as well, and it's available on all markets, malls, and provision shops. Call them on 0246 864798. KEL 360 toothpaste, it says happy smile. Now, Lift and Elevators also wants you to enjoy the labor of your hands by enjoying your mansions. And then it says that the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages. So worry no more. Lift and Elevators are available on the market. And for 3 days, it can install a customized one for you at home and in your offices as well. They have the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's simple and self-supported elevators for homes and offices. And also, it can lift your goods as well. Lift and elevators are located at Sakumono. Call them on 0200-535-515 or send them an email on elevators@gmail.com for consultations and best solutions in easy vertical movements. Now, Estate Masters, also promotion is on. It says Estate Masters Limited is giving you 10% discount on all their lands. And their lands are located at Ningo Pram, close to Central University, and Chopoli, close to the Saglemi. Affordable housing, starting from 25,000 Ghana cedis, 12,500. Contact them on 0500-304-447 or 0509-803-180. Find them on social media as well as Estate Masters, or on www.estatemasters.com. And that is the social media platform that you can find them, and the website as well. Okay, I'll do a quick one before I come to the guest, and that is a special birthday going out to my one and only little brother in this house, who's helped me a lot in this team, in this work that we have done, Kiki. So if you hear me saying Kiki, I don't know if his picture is there. Oh, that's him. Oh, that's me. So that's Kiki on the screen. This young guy, young man, I don't know, somebody. He looks like somebody who's trending.
So much like somebody who trended
Okay, don't
during
mention
the
him.
weekend.
Don't mention him. But he looks like someone who's trending now. Eh?
Yes, who is trending lately? Look at it. Let's have the picture again.
Okay, Kiki.
You see, yeah, he looks like him.
But he's fine. Kiki is fine.
And you see this picture? Looks like. Okay, I'll reserve my comment.
Okay, please reserve.
But
You better
so
reserve
much.
before I call off this show.
It so much looks like something that is trending.
Nothing is trending.
Are you sure?
Nothing is trending. It's Kiki that's trending.
Well, happy birthday, Kiki.
So happy birthday to Kiki of Metro TV. But let me also do a quick one here. Happy birthday to Wilberforce Graham Owusu of Faith Love Lyceum Dansoman, from your parents Sairam and Naneje. May heaven shower you the endless blessings. And this is from Kofigo. Kofigo is to you. And it says that happy birthday to you, my dear sister, as well. So yeah. Happy birthday to all of you who are celebrating your birthdays. But we go back to all those trending. Who is celebrating their birthday?
Our good friends are trending this week. From the weekend, so I don't know how long it's going to continue, but it's fine.
Oh, you just like Mata, eh?
No, it not be Mata I like.
You just like Mata.
I'm just wishing Kiki a happy birthday. And nothing much.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as we talk about what is trending, scholarship bonanza is trending. Okay, scholarship bonanza.
I know.
It's trending. Why is it not trending?
It's trending.
The way she just responded.
Why is she approbating and reprobating?
It's trending.
If we're talking about trends, then let's get into the trends.
And I'm finishing my
The
Ramadan
way
in
she
peace.
just responded, I know.
I want to finish with you.
I am finishing my Ramadan in peace. I don't want any diabolism, any mischief. I am here to talk in peace and go home and continue with my prayers. Because last minutes are very dangerous.
Oh, we pray to Allah.
Inshallah.
That
He has answered already.
He has answered your prayers.
And I actually prayed for you. Do you know that? I did.
You
I
did.
prayed for you
Thank
one
you.
of the days.
Thank you.
I was actually specific on some good people I know. And then I say, okay, God, okay, I'll not say it now because if I say, you say I'm being mischievous. But you know the prayer I'll say for you.
I think the prayers we need most is for the country.
Oh, we have prayed severally for
I'm
the
sure that
country.
one they have.
That one all the time we do.
We are really
The whole
looking
of Ramadan,
forward
we have
an
actually
answered
thanked
prayer.
God for giving us leadership like President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo.
Really?
And but you
I thought you would pray
So,
that
talking-
God intervenes so that
speaking on
the
trends.
economy
Speaking on
comes
trends,
back on.
you know we have been rated as the first well-governed country in West Africa by the World Economic Survey, and then the fifth in the whole of Africa. Annie?
Interesting.
Yes.
A regime that have sent us
Oh
to
no! Look, Doc.
IMF
You can
with
always
inflation
talk about
going
the
high as-
exceptions. You can talk about the hardships, yes, that occasionally will come up, but it doesn't also take away the shine of good work that we are doing. Look, this is a, oh, so you're challenging the survey. Oh, probably
yes,
you can write officially. You can. You can read the survey and come
Ghana
out
has
with
been
your
ranked the
reservation.
best performing country in the
By who?
governance
Very
in West
credible
Africa,
source.
according to the recent World Economics Governance Index report.
Yeah.
So the report was released by the World Economic
Yes, very credible. Very.
Oh, you are not the one to tell us whether it's credible or not.
Very, very credible body. Doing
Good
this,
governance.
telling
Good
the
governance is what we feel in our pockets.
Very credible body telling the world how Ghana is faring. Yes, we agree we have some challenges, but challenges don't crush us.
So
they make us even better country.
The corruption index report.
That is part of the challenges we are facing.
The corruption index
Yes,
report
yes.
that has reported on Ghana being
Yes.
stagnated at 0.43
Yes,
for 4 years
yes,
in a row.
yes, yes.
In the face of that,
and
still
Annie,
ranked us as the best.
Annie,
Then the other countries, they are dead.
Annie, yes, I did admit.
Sometimes it's just so amazing.
I want to reconcile.
Annie, I told
Because
you.
that's also an international report, no?
Oh, Annie, do you want me to say this at all? I told you yes. You certainly would have your challenges. And if you're talking of corruption, yes, corruption might be our challenge. That is why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia stated that, look, in attempt to combat corruption, when he comes, he is going to do what? And this is what, I don't know if you want me to read it.
I want to read this instead.
Of course, I want to also
the
read
governance,
it.
hold on. No, Rabbi.
But I'll just paraphrase.
Rabbi,
I won't read verbatim.
Today,
He's telling us he's coming to fight corruption to death.
Listen, he's coming to fight. Is he not in office now?
He is doing it. We have started. Look, that is why the digitalization agenda
So
is
that is
ongoing.
so that quote
Today,
that's making rounds
Annie,
that Dr.
today-
Bawumia said he is in government, but when he comes, his government will do ABCD. Is that a true quote? Did he say that?
How? Which one?
There's a quote.
We probably will need to validate that. But what we are talking about at this point
there's a
is
quote
the
that he
fact
says.
that we are fighting corruption currently. We are going to continue with the fight on corruption.
So,
look,
so this is what I
the
want to read. So
digitalization
let's
drive
situate
is
this.
bringing
Let's
us
situate this in
results
context.
and impact.
Let's situate this in
Sure,
context.
let's go.
The governance evaluation, which considered factors like political rights, law and order, press freedom, and corruption, placed Ghana at the respectable position of grade B and scored 61.7. The data ranked on a 0 to 100 scale, where 0 stands for bad and 100 stands for good, as it gets. The report said Ghana's dedication to good governance is underscored by its successful democratic transitions of power, adherence and constitutional principles, and robust institutions that uphold the rule of law. It also mentioned that the peaceful and orderly conduct of elections, coupled with the smooth transfer of power, exemplified Ghana's commitment to democratic governance and political stability. Furthermore, Ghana's proactive approach to combating corruption and promoting transparency has earned commendations within the international community.
Perfect.
Perfect. So let's underline. Hold on. Let's underline these words, right?
Sure, do underline, and I'll just bring you to the
proactive approach to combating corruption. I've already mentioned how Ghana's corruption record has stagnated for 4 consecutive times.
But something is happening here.
Which was the 43's best of this government was the worst of the previous administration.
So
Take note of that.
Let's go.
Now, promoting transparency has earned commendation with the international community. The report also implemented anti-corruption measures and establishment of accountability mechanisms have enhanced the trust in governmental institutions and fostered a conducive environment for sustainable development. Where was this research conducted? Wait. I'm still underlining. Let me come back to this sentence. It also mentioned that peaceful, orderly conduct of elections. Is this not the same country that 8 people or 7 people died
And can I say something?
during the election
You are
2020?
squeezing out. Look,
No,
you are
I am
squeezing out.
being factual.
You are squeezing
I
out
am being factual.
what can't be squeezed out in that
Coupled
reportage.
with smooth transfer
You are
of power,
squeezing out
amplified
what
with
is not
Ghana's
found in the
commitment,
reportage. This whole reportage
democratic
is positive.
governance and political stability. They also mention
Very positive.
factors like
Very positive.
law and order, press freedom.
Yes.
Press freedom.
Yes, of course, yes. You see, Annie, you can always have outlier cases.
Oh,
And
I'm just being too critical.
You no. You are just squeezing out what is not found in there. You want us to get what your look. You are thinking. Look, so I understand you. You have this thinking when you really want to send out something, but what you have is actually conflicting with what you are thinking, and that is fair. You are thinking otherwise, but the report is telling you that we are doing well, and it is a very, very positive report.
So
now,
that's,
Dr. Mahmoud, you asked me an earlier
let me make
question.
it personal. No,
Don't go personal
no,
until I
I'll
answer
take it
you.
personally.
So
So
go personal and I'll answer you. Yes.
Who is a journalist in this country?
Yes.
I am actually less credible than this institution.
How?
Is that what you're saying?
No. Far from that.
If
Far from that. What I am saying is that.
for that matter, if persons died during elections, or I would say were killed during elections, and we still have a problem with even investigating has not even gotten there yet. The people who are victims who have not received compensation. And as a journalist, I am actually stating these facts. They do not fall under these indexes. Is that what you're saying?
Can I answer you, Annie?
Do they fall under
Can I
these
talk?
indexes?
So can I answer you?
Yes.
What I am saying is that you are saying something different from what this index is saying. Now, it doesn't make yours or the index's findings wrong. What is in here is speaking very positive. And what you are saying is pointing out some outlier cases that we did witness.
Outliers?
Oh, yes. There is always exception in every rule. Look, you can always have an exception. You can't do away with that. Annie, one person being a bad nut in Metro TV doesn't make Metro TV a bad entity at all.
Okay, so
if the report,
so in this case,
if the report is telling you our proactive measures is worth commendation.
Take your time.
If the report,
I want us to take it one after the other. So in this case, Ghana ranked best in governance in West Africa. So these West African countries who had elections around the same period, that we did not report persons who died, are you saying that we performed better than them?
Annie, it depends on the lens you want to watch it with.
Okay.
You can finish an election without death, and it will be the most corrupt election. And you can finish election with deaths, unfortunately, and that will be the most credible election, depending on what happens and what would have triggered the death, and even what investigations would have gone in and the findings that will come. So that I will not take it wholesale. Initially, you asked me a question, and I want to refer to paragraph 153 of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's 70-pillar points that he mentioned to us at UPSA. And I'll go by this, Annie. He said one of the most potent weapons against corruption is transparency. Many corrupt activities are cash-based. Apart from the obvious economic benefit of moving in direction of cashless society, the literature does indicate that more electronic payments are used in transactions as opposed to cash. The more there is traceability and therefore the less corruption. I would like to bring Ghana close to a cashless economy in the shortest possible time. So far, the Bank of Ghana has made a lot of progress in this direction by putting in place a lot of systems and infrastructure required. This includes mobile money interoperability, merchant interoperability, universal QR code payment system, GH-Link, debt cards, eSwitch, and Ghana Pay. We have put in place the necessary infrastructure for Ghana to go cashless. Now the point here is, Annie, what the report is saying, what he sought to do, and what you are saying are not different things. It only has to do with how we look at them and process. Where are we? We are fighting corruption as a country. And back to the question you asked, what has been done? What is government doing? What can be done more is what we have just said. So I am saying, yes, Annie, I totally agree with where you are coming from. But we all should also be patient and go by these findings that are emanating, and also have faith in the system. Because if you were working and just getting negative, negative, negative without positive, that's where you should be alarmed. But in this case, yes, there are some few negative reportages coming up, but that doesn't make the entire soup bitter.
I mean, I think that everybody that's watching me appreciates where I am coming from.
Sure, absolutely. Even
Because
I
I'm
do
mentioning
appreciate.
the facts
I
on the
appreciate
ground.
where you're coming
The
from.
facts on the ground also includes an economy that has been rated a junked economy.
Yes.
But it is now the best.
Yes. So it tells you resilience. So they say when the going gets tough, it's the toughest that get going. So your ability to resurface out of a problem defines you as an individual.
Okay.
And if you are going through challenges and you go to sit for the whole challenge to come and consume you. So yes,
So I'm saying that
we were
this
ranked.
government that we're talking
Yes.
about,
So
having been ranked, watch the country drive into a ditch, and then allow the international, the same international bodies to rate us or rank us a junk economy, only to be now, ranked as the best governance in West Africa.
And now
the analysis or the explanation to it is that it is how we are able to get out of the problem.
Absolutely.
So how did we get into the problem in the first place?
As for getting into the problem, we all know.
Okay.
Look, when you are even looking at consolidating our stability that we are enjoying here, you probably would want to look at it on several fronts: production-based stability or production-based consolidation. You want to look at expenditure-based consolidation, where you say, what is government doing about expenditure cuts? What is government doing to ensure that unnecessary expenditure is not done in this country? And then we could also look at what so many of my friends are not too comfortable with. That's the
But this government has failed in all those indexes you're actually citing.
It's not true, Annie. It's not the case. Honestly, it's not the case. I am
Since
telling you.
you were born, have you ever seen your grandmother on the street fighting for the little that they made their whole life?
How?
Have you seen it until now?
What do you mean by fighting for the little they have made?
Like what you see the pensioners doing.
How? That I just told you, we have encountered challenges. I'm not trying to undermine anybody's position or unpleasant situation. But when there is challenge, the most important thing is to see how you are getting out of the challenge.
Okay.
And these current reports are telling us that, look, we are in good hands. Being under good governance or having the best of governance tells you that the world was watching us.
Okay.
The world saw how we stood up and fought our challenges, and the world is now appreciating us for being this resilient. And let me quickly add this. I was part of a team that facilitated a bilateral engagement between Nigeria and Ghana on political lines or party lines. And trust me, they said it to us. They said, Rabbi, I heard, one of them was telling me, I heard on radio people complaining about doomsday, and I asked, they said it's off and on of electricity. You call this not having power in your country? I said, yes, your population and all that could be counted, but in fact, this is where we are, and this is what we are doing. And he said, look, you are doing very good. And Annie, you bear with me, most of our allies, most of our African counterparts, most of our neighboring countries would tell you that, look, irrespective, you can peacefully go to Ghana, you can have your businesses sustaining in Ghana, and you can eventually be a very successful person in Ghana than where they are coming from.
Let me have Prof come in. Prof.
Good morning to our cherished viewers. Good morning, and to NDC fraternity, I greet you this morning. Annie, I'm just really surprised at the report, and I can only say that the report, I don't see much credibility in that report because it does not reflect the reality in the country.
Don't forget that the World Economic Governance Index, they also collate information from CSOs.
Yes.
Over 30
so
of them sometimes, depending on how many.
When we say good governance, what does it mean? There's a saying that in a world of the blind, one-eyed man becomes the king. When you look at the West African region, we are surrounded by countries that we've seen coup d'etats over the years. And so if you have a country that has been able to carry out an election, though an election that's bedeviled with a lot of violence, with 8 people dying, somebody would still rank that country as a democratic country, as a country that has good governance because they've been able to conduct an election. But then the issue is that how good was the election? So for me, this report probably is just putting West African region into one basket. And for the fact that there's a lot of coup d'etats within the West African region and Ghana is not seeing that, it means that's good governance. But you see, when we talk about good governance, I think it goes beyond just election. We've experienced within, since independence, a regime that has sent us, I would say more than 50 years back. For example, we've never witnessed inflation going that high as 54.1% in this country. Under this regime, we experienced that. Again, the time this regime took over power, our debt to GDP was 54%. Today, we are talking about 103%. So how can you say that we are having good governance? We have a regime that, as far as this country is concerned, we've never witnessed haircuts. But because of the mismanagement of this regime, we have people losing their investment or the profits of investment we have made. Again, we've not experienced mass shutdown of banks, but under this regime, they've managed to collapse a number of banks that sent a number of people home. And when you look at the 2022 report, World Report, it said that this regime has sent 850,000 people to poverty. We have already a number of people who are poor, and they've managed to push 850,000 people to the poverty line. So how can you, describe this regime as a regime that have had good governance? And again, when you look at the corruption index, as you rightly said, it's been stagnated for the past 4 years. This regime, anybody that tried to fight corruption, the person, corruption fights the person. So how can you say that this regime have done so well as far as governance is concerned? So for me, I would say that the reports I'm kind of really doubting what they really mean by good governance as far as their definition is concerned. Because when you look at the lives of individual or the ordinary Ghanaian, nothing has improved since 2016. We've seen our income depreciating. Though people might have seen marginal increase in their income, but when you talk about the face value of the money they have now, it's about 50%. The real value. So when a report comes out and says that good governance,
maybe they're looking at the macro indicators. Sometimes the macro indicators will give you different.
But what is
it doesn't really bring the micro situation to the fore. But macro, maybe GDP. You're looking at the countries and what their GDP is looking like. Maybe in the past 2 years, 3 years, 1 year. It's easy for you to...
Sometimes it really baffles me as I reflect on the reports because, look, this is a country that's not able to go to the international market because of reckless expenditure or reckless borrowing and spending without, as if there's no tomorrow. They spend without really thinking that there's tomorrow. And so how can you describe a country that cannot go to the international market to borrow? A country that our economy is described as a junk status, or our economy is in a junk status. How can you say that this economy is doing well and for that matter there is good governance? There is good governance when people's life have improved. There is good governance when there is accountability. There is good governance when there is transparency. Today, it's only in this regime that when there was an expose, the people who did the expose's life were threatened. We had Ameswale killed how many years now? And as of today, we do not know the people who were behind, but we know that ABBEY Swale was part of the people who carried out the documentary. I think is it something 12? I've just forgotten the title.
Number 12.
Of it.
Number 12.
Number 12. He was part of it, and he was murdered. We witnessed instances where journalists were attacked. Journalists were more or less pursued because they criticized this government, or even individuals were attacked because they criticized this government. So how can you say that there's press freedom?
Like I said,
how can you say that there's freedom of
speech? If you're aggregating the indicators, the single issue of ABBEY Swale may not necessarily mar the whole performance of the media. It probably, is, yes, maybe she used an outlier. I was not really happy with the word. But in this case,
you see, I'm not just
in your submission, I can use it as an outlier.
Yes, and I'm not just saying that it's just a killing of ABBEY Swale, but we've witnessed over the years instances where journalists report some ill happening and they are attacked. Individuals, are attacked. People who try to fight corruption. The OSP, as at this morning or as at today, we don't really know if he's really working or he's just sitting down because corruption fought him, and he almost cried on telly when he had to, burst out on what was happening. So how can all these happening be described as good governance? Look, Annie, we talk about good governance when lives of individuals have improved. We're in this country, when RENA unit in Kolebu was shut down, people died because of what? 4 million Ghana cedis. How can you say that there's good governance when a government cannot support an institution like hospital to thrive and people have to die, and you describe such a regime or governance as good? So honestly, I am so surprised about this, because our lives is not reflecting what is being said, or what is being said is not the reality of the economy. As at this morning, we've all seen an increase in prices of petrol, fuel in general. We are seeing an increase in dollar. We are seeing the depreciation of Ghana, our city. We are seeing students lying on bare floor because there isn't enough beds for them. We are seeing students young as 14, 13, going to rent hostel outside their school because the school do not have enough dormitories to accommodate these children. We are seeing students eating gari for lunch and gari for evening because there isn't enough food in school. And so how can you describe such an economy or such a government or regime as being good? So I am so surprised at this report, and I'm really wondering if they have redefined what governance really means, to say that Ghana have improved. Because when you compare 2016, what was handed over to the NPP, you cannot describe this regime as people who have performed, because they took inflation from 15.4, today is over 20%. They took debt to GDP at 54%. Today we are talking about 104%. They took our debt from 120 billion Ghana cedis. Today we are talking about 600 billion cedis. And so if you took something that was that good, and today we are seeing it in this worst situation. Today, Ghana is not able to pay its debt. We front-loaded our debt to the next 2-3 years to pay. So how can you describe this as good governance? So for me, I think I'm really wondering what they were comparing it to. You see, sometimes you can say something is bad, but because probably maybe they are comparing it to Burkina Faso, but even in Burkina Faso, inflation is not at 20%. Probably they are comparing it to what is happening in Mali. But in Mali, I don't think that though there is coup d'etat there, they do not have inflation at the rate at which we have
my wonder sits with you. If the definition probably, or the indices used have changed. And I wish we could have more reports or detailed report from the World Economic Governance Index. This is how Wikipedia defines its work, the World Governance Index. The World Governance Indicators is a project that reports both aggregate and individual governance indicators for over 200 countries and territories covering the period from 1996 to 2001. This consists 6 dimensions of governance: voice and accountability, political stability and absence of violence or terrorism, right? Governance effectiveness, regulatory quality, rule of law, and control of corruption. So maybe under the control of corruption, the research of the World Governance Index established the institution or considered the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, right? So that could give a positive indication for government. Prof, that is possible, right? I mean, that's possible.
Let me add.
No, I don't want you to add.
I want to add you some
No,
flesh.
I'm trying to don't flesh me.
Yeah.
You see? I'm
I
just
have some
trying.
figures to just back what you are
Maybe
saying.
the effort you put in shows that there's a bit of the stagnation of the corruption index is there. I can understand.
You see, Annie, you talk about effort. What effort is government doing to fight corruption?
Can I say the effort?
What effort is government doing to reduce the inflation that we are witnessing today?
Perfect.
What effort is government doing to reduce the rate of depreciation of our city? Look, even talking about inflation, I personally believe that we are seeing the reduction from the 54, which shouldn't have been the case. Sometimes they take credit that, oh, we're at 54, now we are reducing, as if the 54 was where we were supposed to be, and we are now reducing. It is because, one, we are not paying our debts. Today, you talk about the price of cement. We're talking about 97 Ghana cedis. 2016, it was 23 cedis. A fuel or a gallon of fuel today, we are talking about 50 Ghana cedis and above. When they took over, it was how much? 14 Ghana cedis. A bowl of kenke. I don't know the last time you ate kenke. 2016, we're talking about 50 pesos. 1 cedi, a bowl of kenke. Today, we are talking about 5 Ghana cedis. This is the reality of our economy. By talking about research, you see, as I said, in the world of the blind, the one-eyed man becomes a king. And so probably the report is just comparing West African region or comparing probably countries that have dictatorship. And for the fact that Ghana was able to organize an election, though an election that was marred with violence and the death of 8 people, that as at today, our president couldn't come to say that he is sorry because he had to be president, people had to lose their life. He's been quiet about it. Probably that is why they are saying that there's good governance, because we're able to organize an election. But what we are feeling today as a citizen or as a people, we cannot say this is good governance, because the time they took over, things were much better than it is today.
Bahama said it.
You see,
we are left with bones.
it is only a blind man who will say that 4 Ghana cedis, if you are buying $1 at 4 Ghana cedis, you are not better off. But if you are buying $1 at 14 Ghana cedis, you are better off. It's only a blind person that will say that. It's only a blind man who will say that if you buy a bowl of kenke at 50 pesos, you are not good enough. If you buy kenke at 5 cedis, you are better off. It's only a blind man who will say that. It is only a blind man who will say that an economy that cannot go to the world market to borrow is better off than an economy that had the leeway to borrow. It is only a blind man who will say that at the time when schools had textbooks, that each child had access to more than 4 or 5 textbooks, is not better off than a child who cannot access even 1 textbook.
For 4 years, government changed the curriculum and could not provide textbook. As of today, even though they've provided textbook, there are a lot of schools that do not have textbook. It's only a blind person. And you see, I will say that, look, as a country, we need to stop this propaganda and be sincere to ourselves, because sincerity is the beginning of the solution. If we live in denial and think that, yes, world reports have said that things are good, and so let's clap for this government, we may be deceiving ourselves, because as today, price of fuel have increased. In fact, GPRTU indicated that they are going to increase fare by 30%. How can you say that our lives are better off? So for me, I think Rabi shouldn't be too excited about this report, because look,
they give the ordinary other dimension. They give the indicators. The index also takes a look at.
They give the indicators.
And
they give the indicators.
I think that we have voice in this country. We are able to say what we want to say. How about accountability?
How you talk about accountability?
And you want to
How can we say that this government is accountable to us?
Are you accountable?
How can we
much
say so?
accountable.
A government that has been bedeviled with
you've
corruption
asked me a question. Should I talk?
in a scale that we've never witnessed before.
So the reason I'm asking the accountability is that when we were discussing the issue of the SML report, now people are having their doubts because of established past issues where we've had reports and white papers issued, but the government of the day did not take any action on it. Ayawaso West Wagon is one. The Ejura issue of Kaka, that issue that killed Kaka, was another. We haven't seen anything done about it. We haven't seen anything done about the 8 people who died during the elections. So these are examples of accountability that people are looking at. They involve lives.
Martin Amidu's report.
Martin Amidu's report. We have J.B. Danqua's death. We are still in courts over how many years now? We don't know what's going on. So are you really accountable to the people?
I really find accountability very useful when you take your time to have it done properly. Look, I agree that we need to have response. We need to have verdict. But when it is done efficiently, irrespective of the time it would have consumed, the outcome is what we are always looking for. What's the point of rushing to make a decision when you haven't really looked at the issues of the substance of the issue? Now, that is
when you have reports and you have white papers issued, what is the rush here?
Annie is still in court, isn't it?
No, white
and you and I agree.
No, I'm saying that, for example,
on the issue of prejudice.
I'm saying Ayawaso West Wagon. We set up a committee. We took our time, gave them live airtime. We all watched it. The committee came out with its reports. And these are respectable judges of the Supreme Court. And they came up with a report. A white paper has been issued. What time again do you need? The white paper contains the recommendations of what to do.
It certainly doesn't end there.
So where does it end?
So let's have it easy. Look, the discussions is ongoing.
Certainly, discussions on white paper.
Oh. So if it is white paper, nothing should be done about it again, because they brought it. They should just come and say, Ghanaians, this is it. This is the verdict.
So what's the point establishing a
So be patient. Do you know the number of issues that the president would have to deal with, or even the leadership would have to look at one after the other? You see, yes, I agree that we should have accountability, which we are enjoying in this country. We should, even if you look at it, I'm happy that you are limiting these indicators to areas that you want to pick. Yes. But if you look at, like Prof was saying, if you look at the indicators that would have been used, it's not just limited to just one-sided.
Some issues.
Or just an
which
issue.
you call outliers.
Well, of course, Annie, I don't know what this word has done to you, but that is it. But where I am coming from is, even if we want to still go back on the corruption song, look, Annie, the Global Barometer report by Transparency International in 2015 showed that more than 50%, Annie, and this is 50% of its respondents, said corruption was extreme in Ghana. And they made it specific in the areas. When they came in 2015 under NDC, police, I'm not equalizing, I'm just putting the facts clear. Police had 92%. And then in 2023, when you go to look at the report, it is telling you 53.2%. Now, I want to even situate it to where we are in terms of corruption. Look at what we have done in the police sector. Just even situating it on Ghana Police Service, equipping them, building their capacity, infrastructure, making them more recognized.
And attractive.
And attractive.
I like what I see at the police headquarters.
And attractive, Annie. This is what we are talking about. So if there is an exception or there is a challenge somewhere, let's always be positive as a country. This morning when I was driving here, I was listening to one gentleman who rang in Asasi Radio. And he said, look, I don't know why majority of us don't just want to see anything good about this country. Sometimes we should be able to tell when we are doing well. And this is recognition and commendation that is coming across board.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But did that notion change from regime to regime?
Of course, no. But it doesn't mean we should continue with the bad. So in the previous
administration, you had the same notion?
Well, I wouldn't confirm that because I never paid attention so much to that. But what I am saying is that if we all become that patriotic, to say, okay, I am a communicator of the NPP, and that doesn't mean anytime I come to sit here, I should see everything bad with the NDC. If there is something to be said for the NDC, I would say it. And that's what I will always tell you, Annie. When they came to do the runway and the apron and the reflectors on my the airport and call it phase 1, we have come to say we are not leaving it there. We believe in sustainability. And we have come to raise the superstructure. Today, I walked boldly through the Tamale International Airport, and I did a video with the NDC MPs. They agreed with me. They were there. Kumbungu, even His Excellency former President John Mahama's former MP, his MP was there. I asked him, your man couldn't do this. This is what we have done. He said, Ajay, I agree.
Okay.
I'm coming. Let me say this.
Someone says I should tell you this, that, Annie, good morning. Please tell Prof that she should choose a new word. Instead of it is only the blind man, yes, she should say it is only the dumb person. we have intellectual and very knowledgeable blind persons.
Oh, yeah.
Eugene Elliott is sending from East Legon.
Yes.
Good morning to you. Some PLA ambassador says that the world cocoa price have gone up astronomically due to acute supply of cocoa. So what could Ghana have done to increase cocoa prices? The produce buying company is liquidated. The cocoa board is heavily indebted. Okay, I get your point. Oh,
I have some issues to raise.
How are you saying that you're not done? Helga says that. Annie, please, which Ghana are we talking about? Is it the same that we live in, or there is a parallel country somewhere? Please, this is Ghana. I mean, don't we have peace in this country?
We do. We do have peace, Annie. We have it. And it goes beyond just the support the government has given all the services. It goes beyond. Look, this voice, this issue of voice we have. What are you looking at, Annie? This
Someone
issue
has
of
sent
voice.
a message. Let me read a message.
That what?
I'm looking at. He says, hello, please. Okay, I won't say it on air. No, I won't say it on air. Let me call for break.
Is everything all right?
Yes, everything is all right.
Anyway, can I finish before you call for break?
No. Let's go.
So when we come back, I'll come and see my father. I've seen you look at your watch and my watch. What's wrong with my watch?
We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the program. It's still Good Morning Ghana. I have my guest still with me. Prof. Benedict Asosu Mensah is still with me, and also Haja is with me of the MPP. Let's do this quick one before we go to the Scholarship Secretariat. Some of you are just wondering why we took that quick break. It was necessary, and everything we want to do, we have done it, so it's fine. But thank you for the notification.
You're putting them in suspense.
I like that. This one, I like it. So, yeah, Game Park Game Limited says that what does wealth mean to you? And do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, who's got the mullah got the power? Ghana's newest lottery game draws on Adum TV, 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website is www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# on all networks. Now, just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. So make some moolah with this. It's also played only by persons above 18. So if you are under 18, please, you'll be arrested if you are found doing that. It is regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Betway cash out says that are so cool. The Kosovo Dam is big, but Betway cash is bigger. Betway is giving you more control over the thrilling bet you place and enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out games on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.ga. Terms and conditions apply, and also not for persons under 18, regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins, nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, and which are known to boost the strength and energy, as well as promote some high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best Blue Jeans energy drink for the bold and active men and women. So go on and grab one for yourself. It's in the shops nationwide, and for bulk purchase, you want to contact them. Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. That's for Blue Jeans energy drink for you to enjoy. So let's go on to a video that I think I have ready for us to play, and that has to do with an interview with the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat that Joy FM interviewed. And this person is in the person of, okay, I want to get the name right. Is it, okay, I think I'll get it shortly, but let's play the interview and then I'll give you his name. Okay, let's have that interview played and then we'll come back into the studio. It has to do with the fourth estate that Manasseh Azuri and his team calls it scholarship bonanza. We'll be back shortly.
It appears that panelists are confusing Get Fund with Ghana Scholarship Secretariat. I am Scholarship Secretariat, and your interview with the past Auditor General referencing Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe and Adjoa Safo and what have you, were awards given by the Get Fund.
Yeah, he didn't confuse that. He was clear about that.
Not
yeah.
Ghana Scholarship.
He was clear about that. The point there was that Get Fund had usurped the Scholarship Secretariat's role. So in that audit, they actually advised and recommended that Get Fund should stop and leave you alone to do the job. But you should also have policies guidelines for how you do it.
So that is why, and you rightly quoted the Get Fund Act, Section 22B. So from time to time, Get Fund is mandated to give us supplementary funds. And it is clear that that particular fund coming from Get Fund is supposed to go into the second cycle accredited tertiary institutions for local consumption. Now, something, I will indulge you that as to whether we are constantly receiving that fund from Get Fund and whether it is adequate enough to sponsor every local scholarship in Ghana, I'll leave that to you. You are the journalist. But the point is that if your other colleague or your other panelist has evidence about these serious crimes that he has professed, I think it is only clear that you do not have to wait for this opportunity to come out. We will assist so that we bring the perpetrators to justice.
When we are done, we may have a discussion.
Yes.
And for good reasons, purposes of avoiding victimization of certain people, I've received emails directly to my email. As we speak now, I am receiving WhatsApp messages from students who are beneficiaries who are abroad.
Yeah.
Of course, a good number of them talking the positive. Yeah. My phone number is not public.
Yeah.
How they got it and suddenly all of them are flooding my phone with it. I've been in this job for a while. I know how this would happen. But there are people, not faceless people, who are talking about the racketeering, who are talking about the unfair treatment. I put up the Reginald. He came for an aptitude test. He got 93%. Reginald is a brilliant guy with the pharmacy subsector of our economy, doing a lot of work. He didn't get it.
So it is important that we get to know the processes. Something, getting 100% in the aptitude test is 25% of the procedure. It will also be fair for educational purposes that we get the background, because as it stands now, all the armory in Ghana and the media, fourth estate and multimedia, are towards the scholarship secretariat. And as I jokingly stated, that it appears that we are guilty before we were charged. Headed to 2017, how was scholarship secretariat being awarding scholarships? Between 2012 and between 2009 to 2016, how were we awarding scholarship? You will sit in Accra and let people from, I did a bit of investigation. I don't know whether you are from Upper East Bongo or something. I got names from this current administration. We have all awarded scholarship to these guys, and we will talk about that later. But then the scholarship secretariat will sit in Accra, and people will travel all the way from Upper East to come and prove to the scholarship secretariat that, in fact, they are brilliant and needy. Now, this particular government and this young, hard-working Dr. Kingsley Agyeman come into office and says it is not fair. How are we going to make this fair so that the right, needy, brilliant people get the scholarship? And this is what we did, Samson. The decentralization is not good enough. However, what we did was that we will get the people who live in the locality, who are the best people to determine that these particular students are brilliant and they deserve the awards. So this is the criteria for the committee. We then have a traditional rep from that district to be part of the scholarship review committee. We then have an MP or his rep, irrespective of party colors. We have the current DCE or the MCE to be part of this scholarship review committee. Then we have the educational district rep, and then a staff from scholarship secretariat. So you do the aptitude test. We shortlist the aptitude test based on the median score. We invite those who scale through for interview. For the interviews, you are marked on these criteria. Your academic merit, depending on the grade that you go, we give you a mark. The motivation to pursue a particular course, your comprehension and general knowledge. So after this interview, the panel grades and recommend that these particular students are in need of scholarship. And this is what we've done since 2017. So if you look at the record, and that is why, although I commend Fourth Estate, it comes back to your question, that the period between 2019 to 2020, Samson, this government had awarded 61,500 local scholarships. In that same year, for foreign awards, we had awarded 2,911 scholarships for foreign awards. And I don't know whether we do have the time. I would have explained to you that even for foreign scholarships, there are two different types. We have the bilaterals and the non-bilaterals. So let's focus on the foreign awards that we awarded. So if you pick 3,000 of the foreign awards that we awarded, and you cherry pick those who are politically or the elite inclined. I did the calculation yesterday. I know, and it was about 0.5% of the data set. I am not a statistician. I am an engineer and a health worker before I got to the scholarship secretariat. But I've watched you for years, Samson. If after this program we run a random sampling test on your credibility on this work, and then you get to find out that half a person out of 100 is not satisfied with your job, does it mean that you are worse at your job? Yes, we are a human institution, and it is very important that these outliers do happen. But I will indulge our viewers that we will take a critical look into these things, because the caveat for
what you refer to as outliers, caveat, hold on there. So some of the scholarships, those beneficiaries who got, that is raising eyebrows. Just let's look at just a couple of them.
Yes.
And then you'll explain why they would be qualified. And we're showing them now, one after the other.
Yes. I am
So
particularly
this one,
yes.
Go back to the first one that just came. She got it for internship.
Yes.
She got it for internship in the International Criminal Court. People are asking internship, scholarship of 6,000 USD or how much for is, and then so the rest of them, you will see that this is a high-rank diplomat, and is getting this much. Why a diplomat? Why should he be qualified? The next person also a diplomat or so. The next person an NPPU's activist, 27, thousand US dollars. The next person Ashanti Regional Youth.
All right, so that's the bit about the scholarship bonanza, which, as stated by Richard Jesse, right? Richard Jesse, speaking for the Scholarship Secretariat, and he had an interview with Samson Ladi, and he's actually explained it further, maybe what processes and procedures you have to go through to qualify you. But I think this expose has mainly been based on some persons that we deem, I won't say unintelligent, maybe they're intelligent, but not needy. Right? But not needy. I am not, by this chance, just focusing on the whole scholarship or just the Scholarship Secretariat, but want to situate it in the whole educational sector, which I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like almost everything we touch on education becomes debatable or becomes an issue. We are now battling with the issue of government has given tablets to students. Oh, is that not something that we should be happy about? Now you have more issues coming out where teachers are saying, you promised us, laptops. You haven't even given us the laptop. Those of us who are going to teach the students how the ICT, we have not gotten the training that we want. We've not gotten the laptops, and you are, offering laptops to students. There's also the issue of course, when I actually went through the laptop, I went referencing the RLG during the NDC time. RLG. Yes, the RLG laptop that were distributed during the NDC time. And I remember that time. Well, I saw a... Was it a Bugapele or something? That was the JIDA issue. Yes, but on the distribution of the RLG itself, during the distribution, this is what Nanado said at the time. This was a Ghana Web story. It says, he said, we have been told about the thousands of laptops being distributed all over Ghana. It turns out that boys' names, it turns out boys' names are to be found in girls' school list, while one institution has come out to say that one of the names against their school's list belongs to any enrolled students. So on the university campuses, at least it would appear that the distribution of the laptops has its proper name, one laptop per NDC supporter. These were Nanado's comments at the time. The NDC government appears to think that the education of Ghana's children is a political toy for them to play. They reduced the duration of senior high schools, that's SHS, from 4 years to 3 years, for no reason, but it has been done by an MPP government. The results of the past 2 years have shown that students who spent 4 years at the SHS performing excellently at the West Africa Senior High School Certificate of Education, and then that's a WASI. The phenomenon of Second and Third World War, which was the name given to students sitting in the exam over and over again, disappeared. He said it disappeared, but I don't think it disappeared. Second and third, it still persists now. We're still having that. That's the one laptop, one student distribution projects that I'm sure did not end. And, we had all this JITA mess. Then we're here today. We're distributing laptops. But there's a Mahama video that I also saw in distribution of laptops or tablets. I would say tablets. Let's have that video. Then I'll come back to the studio.
education. And we're going to pilot the use of electronic textbooks at the secondary level, junior high school and secondary level. And so students will receive tablets that have all their core textbooks on the tablet. And if this pilot is successful, then we shall expand it across the whole school system. We will complete the construction by 2021 when I leave office, inshallah. We'll complete the construction of all the 200 community-day senior high schools, I promise.
All right, so there's a lot, really. I mean, not to bombard you with so much going on in the education, but we have the scholarship issues that we are now dealing with, or we are yet to deal with, because the full report will come out shortly. You've seen the book that I showed you earlier on, that the Scholarship Secretariat also released to the fourth estates for them to go through before they are able to determine their findings of the investigation or educational investigation that they are embarking on. So let me have, Prof, I should start with you. Since you are in the school, the academia, you can tell us more about, either you deal directly on the scholarship bonanza, or you can get into the educational sector as a whole.
Thank you. I just want to say that I use a certain word, blind.
Oh, yes.
But I want to say that it's I say a figurative expression. To just say that somebody who is refusing to see what is really real. So it's like a deliberate attempt of refusing to see something. So like being hypocritical.
Totally.
That's when something is good, you still say, no, it is not, all that kind of thing. So it is not the real word. So it's just
derogatory.
Used, yes, it's a figurative expression that was used. To talk about the issue of scholarships, racketeering, Annie, it's a very sad and a very heartbreaking information or expose. When you look at the Scholarship Secretariat or the entity itself was established with one main objective. The objective is to help or support students that were brilliant but were needy. I think that is a very important clause. That you should be brilliant and you should be somebody that is needy. And when we talk about someone who is needy, we all know who that person is. And I'm sure that the framework would have defined what they mean by somebody being needy. It's so surprising and it's shocking that an institution that was built with a clear mandate, with a good intention, have been now converted into a business outlet. I am saying this because it's been revealed with so many complaints from some students that people have to buy the scholarship. Scholarship that is supposed to be for poor people, people who are needy. The rich is now buying the scholarship. So there are instances where there's an allegation that people used £5,000 to buy scholarship that worth £40,000 for to go and study abroad. So you ask yourself, the one who accepted the £5,000, where is that going to? So the Scholarship Secretariat have been bedeviled with corruption, the issue of transparency being lacking or an opaque operation. And I was so surprised that is it Richard James was educating us some of the procedure, the fact that, formally people have to travel far to the Scholarship Secretariat to be interviewed in order to get the scholarship, but they feel that that should not be the case. They should, constitute a panel made of MP, made of some politician, DCE, and individual to interview individuals and to also make sure that these individuals are indeed poor. That you cannot justify the reason for what we are seeing today. Look, this expose just tells us that the poor
the ordinary Ghanaian, contribute or pay tax, and these taxes, instead of being used to support individuals that this scholarship secretariat was established to help, is virtually helping whether the rich or people who are not poor. So, for example, we had instances where we have Dr. Dennis Addo coming up. He's a CEO to a hospital, and he benefited as much as $50,000 to go and study abroad. How can you call somebody who is a CEO as somebody who is needy? And now when you go into it, this is a man who described himself as a pioneer of MPP activist, a member of TESCON. So he was once a member of TESCON, which presupposes that he got the scholarship not because he was needy, but because he's an MPP and he's somebody who supports the agenda of MPP. We have, again, instances where Gifty Owari Mensah, who is a deputy CEO of National Service Secretary, also benefited from scholarship. But how can somebody describe Gifty as somebody who is needy? We have instances where people, related to, do I say big wins of NDC? So, for example, the personal assistant to the second lady also got scholarship to go outside and study. You ask yourself, somebody who is a relative to Samira Baumia, how can you describe such a person as poor? You have a relative of Kenfori Atta.
But let me ask this question.
Yes.
Where was Samira Baumia if her sister or brother, whatever, wants to study abroad? Where will she get £40,000 to go and study?
So the issue is that the secretariat, we are not saying that it should be selective, but the secretariat was established for one purpose. One of it is the fact that the person should be poor and the person should be brilliant. You see, there is a clear definition. You should. So it means that if you are poor and you are not brilliant, you are not entitled to the scholarship. And if you are brilliant and you are not poor, you are not entitled. They are two very distinct words. Mm-hmm. You should be brilliant and you should be poor in order to benefit. So you may be poor, but once you are not brilliant, you cannot, benefit from this scholarship. And of course, we have instances, of course, where there are some people who have benefited. You cannot describe them as necessarily brilliant, but probably because they are connected. So it looks like this scholarship, you see it as another form of corruption. When I listen
to Richard Jenfi, yes. He said in the process, if you make 100% of your aptitude test, it's just about 25% yes. of the whole procedure. That disturbed me a bit because the two key indicators for persons to qualify for scholarship are 1, brilliant, 2, needy.
Yes.
So if being brilliant, that scores you 100% of the aptitude test, only makes 25%, then the rest is what?
You see, I'm so surprised
the rest
that
75%
it's such a shameful act.
The board that has been established, they will determine how.
Annie, sometimes you see, it's not everything that we need to come out and defend. This is a very shameful thing. That's something that is meant for the poor. We are selling it out. Why should somebody buy a scholarship 5,000 in order to get a 40,000 scholarship? Why would, for example, Michael Ofori Atta Jr. describe himself as poor? Somebody who is a relative to the president and the former finance minister. How can he say he's poor? The fact that he may be brilliant doesn't make him eligible for that scholarship, because the scholarship is not just for the brilliant, but it is for the brilliant and the poor. Sadly enough,
maybe he's poor.
Sadly enough,
he's needy.
He's needy.
He needs $40,000.
You have your uncle being a president, and your uncle cannot support you. It's a scholarship that you have to get from. Look, but honestly, let's put issues right. when you look at this individual, it is not just because they are related to somebody who is rich, but the underlying factor is that these people are NPP activists. That is the thing. That is why they've been given, because we had instances where former women organizers were given scholarship. Whatever. There is this woman, Amma Frempoma. Let me just get the distance. Fosia, as I said, she's related to the second lady. She also got a scholarship of 17,000 to go to UK and study. We have Celestina Amwaku Atta. She is a youth activist of NPP. She benefited 27,000 Ghana cedis to go and study an MSc program. We had instances where people got to the tune of 28,000 Ghana cedis, 28,000 pounds just to go and study because they are members of NPP. They are members of NPP. So the underlying issue is the fact that the scholarship secretariat is now being run as a second, office of NPP because people who are benefiting, a large chunk of them seems to be people belonging to the NPP. And if you are not a member of NPP,
is Celestina Mwakata the daughter of former Minister Mwakata?
I guess so.
She's not?
She's an NPP
or she's a relative
activist. I'm not too sure of her affiliation, okay. But she's an NPP activist. And today she's an administrative assistant at Ghana National Petroleum Authority. So again, at the time when even people with PhD are in the house, people with masters are in the house, they cannot find a job. She went to do masters 2019 and came back, and she's employed. Meanwhile, the same finance minister is telling us that if you complete school, do not look to the public sector, look to the private sector. The very private sector that they have collapsed today. He is telling the youth, meanwhile, their people, they are employing them. All I'm just trying to say is that, for me, this is so shameful. This is very unfortunate because if you are poor, what that means is that you do not have the resources to go and buy scholarship.
Let me establish it before I go to Rabi. So, in a case where we find political activists belonging to the government in office benefited from this scheme, what does it mean?
You see, Annie, I think as a country, we all need to be sincere to ourselves. Scholarship Secretariat was established for one main objective: support the brilliant and needy. I know previously we had scholarship for cocoa farmers that were supposed to support cocoa farmers' children. Sadly enough, people who had the connection, people who had money, bought the scholarship. And the very people that this scholarship was established for never got it. Scholarship Secretariat is also witnessing the same thing. I think as a country, things like this, we need to say no to them. We cannot pretend that all is well. All is not well. When individuals are lining their pockets because they are using the institution they are working for as a means of enriching themselves.
Right.
For me, I think that this investigation should not just end on social media, on people just coming out to express their view about the issue, but heads must rule. If there's enough evidence that student bought scholarship, £5,000 scholarship for 40,000, and so on and so forth, these individuals should be punished. You see, that is why I said I was so surprised that we are having a report telling us that we have good governance today. How can we say there is good governance when a process that's supposed to be transparent, a process that should be straightforward, being so opaque, a process that the poor and the needy should benefit, is benefiting the rich and then the affluent people in society? How can we say that this is social justice?
So,
this is
so
definitely
if you go on
injustice, and I think that we need all to condemn it and hate
So if you go on the website of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, this is what it writes. Welcome to the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat online application system. That applicants are to note that the service provided by the Secretariat is free and that no individual, group or third-party entity has been engaged by the Secretariat to assist any applicant. Kindly read thoroughly and complete your application. So the 4 easy steps to your scholarship application. Open the web address, and the address is www.scholarshipgh.com. 2. Create an account to register. 3. Complete the application form and upload academic transcripts, admission letters, and academic certificates, and complete an online aptitude test and be scheduled for a selection interview in your selected districts. Location, North Ridge, GS Council Building. Location, behind Accra High. Hotline, the numbers are there. The email is also there. GPS address is also there. So that is what it gives you. And then the other information, you can click on the links and then it will give you all that.
They present it nicely like this.
Exactly.
But even to go for visa, I'm told they have to even pay to get a letter from the secretariat in order to secure visa. So you can see what is really happening. And I think it is not about hearsay. These are reality. You see, this level of hypocrisy is why we are where we are today. Because look, when there's a problem, acknowledging the presence of the problem is the beginning of the solution. So when you refuse to acknowledge the problem, you cannot even have a solution. And that is why the economy is in this mess today.
All right, Rabbi.
You see, you started from a point of anything education
is becoming a problem.
I would not call it a problem, but I would say having people very much interested. And I'll commend Ghanaians for that level of interest and will to probe and know what exactly they are supposed to be served as a country. Now, what actually gladdens my heart is the fact that when you look at the video you played of JM and where we are as a country and government, it tells you there is a point of convergence or some synergy in terms of policy direction. Mm-hmm. Having to say, one person saying, I would do, how do they call it, progressive education? Mm-hmm. We come to say we are doing free SHS. Mm-hmm. Having to look at access in general, schools under 3s, how we are going to address infrastructural issues. JM is talking about provision of e-learning textbooks and also laptops. Tablets. This is what we are doing as well. Now, my only challenge is us, people who comment on political issues and policy. I agree we are here to defend, but I'll always repeat that if it is indefensible or if it is not supposed to be condemned, we shouldn't force ourselves in the shoes of condemnation. We are coming from a point, and we are not done as a country. We are not at a point where we say we are done with governing the country. We are not at a point where we will say we have it all when it comes to education. We are still progressing. Somebody may call it even transitional or something, depending on how you want to really situate it. But the most important thing here is provision of access, considering quality of the access you have provided. And then what next? Leading into the bigger picture. We have come to say that, look, this is the bigger challenge. Lots of Ghanaian youth do not have access to education due to inability to cater by their parents, their guardians, or even in some cases, some of the wards themselves. Because I know some young people who would even work during vacations to come and take care of themselves in terms of education. Annie, over 1 million of this kind have been sorted, and that shouldn't be swept under the carpet. However, you can't do implementation without challenges. That is why you always would have points to have a review. That's why the policy implementers should always be open, which we are today, to listen to the critics, And you, Annie, you have always pointed it out. When it is word commendable, sometimes you do so well. And when you have to hold us by the neck, you pull us and say, Rabbi, wait, what about the food that was served to the young women or the young children? What about the furniture that is not provided? And I'll tell you, yes, it is being provided gradually. When you go to Karaga today, the senior high school, I will tell you they were given more than 500 dual decks to use. And that is also a good one. And I'll tell you, when you talk about another area, theirs will probably come. This is where we are as a country. And that tells you we are not stagnant. We are moving forward. And we certainly will get to the promised land. Talking about scholarship secretariat and the practices and all that is happening, for me, to know that it is being done as business, it is still being speculated. I am yet to see the investigation being all calling for investigation. We listened to Richard also call for such. He's saying, look, this should be investigated. Perpetrators should be picked and dealt with. And that is what I hope to have in this country. And that's what we all hope to see. Trying to put it in the context of, if it's true that people take up to $5,000 to give people scholarships.
£5,000.
I mean, £5,000. If people take this kind of huge sums of money for people to earn scholarship, I'll describe that as unfortunate.
There was an interview I watched of a young man who actually needed 4,000 cedis.
I saw
think
it
about 4 years ago or so.
I saw it.
And he couldn't access.
They actually shielded the face.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they have to protect him. 4,000 cedis. And he was not able to access the...
So granted, I want to situate it based on what I have actually seen. I'm not disputing, and I'm not saying that is not happening. But should it be the case, it is supposed to be stopped immediately. Because when you look at even the context of the free SHS, but for people not given this opportunity to, majority, especially the girls like myself, wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to do. So to say you are coming to make it a money-making avenue, or you are coming to make it a place where you will get all your dreams fulfilled, that is a wrong one you should do. And that comes to who is involved in the process. We are always quick to point to the politician. We are always quick to shift blames amongst us, NDC, MPP. But we do forget, and this has to do with all of us, all political parties, that we have a third force. That happens to be the technocrats we are working with. When you talk about Goro boy infiltrating the passport system, when you talk about a Goro person at the visa acquisition point, who facilitates that? Who works hand in hand with this person? I am not running.
People who
I'm not running away from the blame coming to us. I accept it. But that tells us we need to cover all the loopholes. And that is why Dr. Mahmoud Baumia would tell you, reduce the human interface. If it is not a human being that is taking the money, if it is not a human being that is accepting the application, if the system is robust and can accommodate all the questions, all the applications, all the transactions, you don't need to come to Rabbi to say Rabbi should vet you in a committee.
But look, the documents that were released by this is what Lawyer Kukwaza for the Fourth Estate. This is what the Lawyer Kukwaza wrote. He said that the law provides that where access cannot be given in the form of specified by the applicant, that is whatever document information you want by the LI. Yes, that can be given in other form. Access shall be given in that other form. And two, the applicant shall be provided with the reason why the access cannot be given in the specified form that it first actually. So if I need some documents and I say, give me a soft copy of this, and you tell me that you cannot give me the soft copy, the LI demands or requires you to tell me why you can't give me a soft copy, but you give me a hard copy. And then it goes on to say, crucially, the applicant shall not be required to pay a fee, which is greater than the fee that the applicant would have paid and had access been given in the form requested. So suppose an applicant asks for soft copies, but the agency decides to print and bind the information. The law is saying that the applicant fee is capped at the cost of giving him an electronic file which is often negligible. Now, so the scholarship secretariat, meaning you that must bear the cost of printing and binding. So those documents that we saw on the screen should have been given to Fourth Estate as a soft copy.
Annie.
But where you decide to give hard copy, you pay for it.
Annie, even
So,
when you look at
so
the
your
act,
reference,
when you look at the Right
soft
to
copies
Information Act,
have been with us since.
Annie, when you even look at Annie,
And my second question is, why is the secretariat? Why is the secretariat? Hold on. Why is the secretariat not releasing this on the website? What is so secret about people we have granted scholarships to?
So Annie, what I am
what's
saying
the
is
big deal?
that, what I am saying is that it's good you are bringing this up, and that is not even what I am. And this, I think you are just chipping in not because of what I am saying. I am condemning they making it.
No,
a business
because you made
venture.
reference
I understand
to the digital.
The digital, of course, yes. So if Prof is asking what am I talking about, it has nothing to do with what you are just relating it to a comment I made in terms of digitalizing it. Now, even the act itself says you should provide per the request made by the person seeking the information.
Yes.
If I come asking for hard copy, in fact, even they have made a provision. I can't remember the section, but it tells you even if I am illiterate, I should come with a witness who would actually help me in terms of translation and appending on the document you are providing. Now, what that means is that if I come that Annie, I want the hard copy, and that is what is explaining. Though the amount is not supposed to be anything substantive, I should be able to pay for the printing. Now, we are not even digressing or going deep into the cost and all that. The document is bulky, and we are even saying the climate change advocates will tell you cut down the use of printing and paper and all that. I am for it as well. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is as well for it because he says if you have it in hard copy, wire it. Don't even go printing. Don't even go against the climate change expectation. So for me, I am totally for it. But that is not even where I am landing at this point. My question is, and this is so harmless and very humble one, Annie. What does our constitution, or how do we as a country even define a very poor person?
Exactly. Because at the level
Who is the poor person?
At the level of a tertiary student,
Good.
I am not as poor
Good.
as someone at an SHS level, maybe. The money I need to pay for my fees is about 4,000, 5,000 pounds.
Fantastic.
Maybe someone needs 2,000
1,005.
That's all I need.
Look, the indicators are a lot.
Exactly.
And
So that's why
Annie,
I am saying that this is easy. When it comes to indicators, I think the Secretariat should be able to give us the ranks on their website.
So, Annie, it's beautiful.
Open it.
It's beautiful we are running this on the same page.
Let it be that transparent.
What I am even landing, same point with you, is that, look, to say Rabbi is associated with Annie, who is an auntie or uncle and all that, look, trust me, the person that you are presuming to be rich probably might not be rich. The person that you are presuming to be able to take care of all their relatives in terms of their education might not have the muscle to cater for all their relatives.
The problem with that, all the lists that we have actually, or Fourth Estate has given us, are all associated with the party.
And if you were telling me this, Annie, I'll respond to you. But if an NDC person comes here to pretend and tell me an MPP this and NDC, it never started today. I'm not equalizing. If you go back to archives,
okay, so it's
Annie,
true.
if you go, look, of course, some of them are established. I wouldn't
So
lie,
you're
and I wouldn't
equalizing.
embarrass myself by saying they are
It's
not
not true.
MPP people. But what I am saying is that it's a practice that must stop. Nobody in the NDC can tell me that during NDC, scholarship wasn't given to party faithfuls. Nobody in NDC can challenge this. So what I am saying is that when we have issues of this kind to discuss, it's always fair to be partisan, but to talk to our Ghanaians who are viewing us and more discerning even to some extent than some of us.
Yeah.
It's only prudent to look at the best ways to address the issue. And I'll land on the way forward I think we should implement. One, Annie, I think the issue of ethics and good practices should be taken into critical consideration. And that is where I bring in all the stakeholders, the beneficiaries, the technocrats and all that. If you were asked to pay 5,000, what prevents you from reporting this person who is telling you to pay that money. If that officer is getting you to agree that you need to pay an order, what makes you or what stops you from crying out? And if you are also paid salary for doing the work you are doing, what pushes you to go and do that? And that takes us to my next point that, look, we should have proper investigation in this whole thing.
Okay.
It should be investigated. And lastly, clear guidelines should be set in place to say, this is what we are coming to do. When you read the portal, it tells you don't pay any amount, you'll be guided, just fill it and go. There should be a supporting guideline document that says, for you to be able to qualify, you have to, one, be within the income rate of this, or your parents should be within the income rate of this.
Exactly.
You should be able to score this percentage of maths in so and so exam. You should be of this. So when it is clearly defined, nobody will go and say to
I think it's clearly defined to a certain extent, but not
what we are saying, even at the committee level.
Sorry, let me listen to Paul.
The district committee level, the district committee that the Richard mentioned, he is saying they have constituted a committee that has to do with the
determine
MP.
Those.
And remember, the MPs in Ghana are of course not just from NPP. You would certainly have areas where you have an NDC MP sitting in the scholarship committee. That's the localized one. Now the question here is, what indicators or what are the issues even does this committee consider before even qualifying or disqualifying?
Rabi is, her summation portray like the scholarship secretariat is just a new entity and we are trying to improve on it. I think that's a wrong picture that is being sent there. When the institution was established, there were clear guidelines. What makes one a poor person? The definition. Yes, so it is the issue.
Do we need to review the document? So it doesn't make it inexistent.
It doesn't make it inexistent. Of corruption that we are talking about. It's an issue of friends and family governance that we are talking about. So it is not an issue of the fact
in your previous administration, did you have a report? Sorry, did you have a reporting line where if someone tried this racketeering, you would have somebody to
we
report
didn't
to?
have this issue coming up. You see, the MPP, when we talk about corruption, as I said, they've only paid lip service in fighting corruption. Wow. Look, maybe I don't want to bet on television, but we can talk about all this, but it will just die a natural death. What happened? Cecilia Dapa's case. You see how Ghanaians were all outraged to see a home minister who should know better that homes are not meant for keeping money. The banks are established to keep money. She kept her money in the house. Somehow, a house help went to steal it. And the issue is, how did she come by that money? We spoke about it. The president, before we could say Jack, said, I am confident that you will come out clean. Today, she is clean. Who is talking about Cecilia Dapa's case? We talked about, let me, when you were talking, I was quiet. Allow me to talk. When we talk about Galamsey,
has the juries
Professor Frimpong, yes, came out with a report that said that ministers, in fact, people in government, the presidency, people even at the presidency were involved in Galamsey. And so this issue of I have put my on the line was all gimmick. What happened to that report? We have not heard anything. Ayawaso West Wagon. What happened to the report? Nothing has happened. So you see, these are all confirmation that this government is only paying lip service to fighting corruption. What is happening in scholarship secretariat is not different from cash for seat. It's not different from the PPA scandal that happened in this country. Meanwhile, these are individuals who said they will fight corruption with Anan's principle. When they came to government, or when now that they are in power, Anas is in hiding. Who knows where Anas is today? People are running for their life. Meanwhile, these are people who said they will fight corruption. So for this government, I know this thing will not end anywhere. It is so sad to say that. But as a country, look, I think that we should not just allow people to do whatever they do and get away with it. Taxes, we all pay taxes. In fact, some of us, when you look at our income tax, it's sometimes I'm like, this is just not fair. You take so much, you just gather the tax, and individuals are enriching themselves with what everybody collects. And I think it is time we take people on. This country, we've paid lip service to ourselves, we've paid lip service to people out there, the ordinary Ghanaian, without taking action. And I think we need to hold our leaders accountable. Sadly enough, the trend we are seeing today, even in appointment of judges, sometimes is so sad. At a time when we said there is no money, everybody is suffering. Let's cut down on things, our expenditure. We are seeing appointment upon appointment, and you ask yourself, do we really need this appointment? Sometimes we are believed to think that people are, increasing the number of judges in the appeal court and things to cover up for some of these things, because they know very well that come January 2025, NDC will come to power, and people will be investigated. So you can do whatever you think you can cover up. You can empanel the court thinking that, well, your people are there, so there will be a way to, cover things up. But I can assure this government that all the people perpetuating this act, pushing more Ghanaians into poverty, will definitely pay for their sins, because we will investigate. So, it will not be it will not be like Father for All as we experienced in 2012.
Right.
But this time around, people are going to pay for whatever sins they commit.
So Nanekwe says that, Annie, please, the ECG issue, can you please tell ECG, I've been in Doom Sources yesterday. My things in the fridge are all getting spoiled. This country has not done well. The MPP is complete.
It's a localized problem. Tell her it's a localized
I'm watching you on my phone. I can't watch TV.
Tell Nanekwe it's a localized problem, so she should talk to her local producer. Look, you have an answer already. Prof is saying something that I am laughing in my head. Look, Annie, I don't think, and I'll always say it, NDC has the moral right. They don't.
Former Black Star player,
NDC has no moral right to talk about scandals and corruption in this country.
Oh,
do you know Inkum?
I'm telling you, Annie,
I said, do you know
the
Inkum?
NDC has
do you
no
know
moral
a former
right.
Black Star player Inkum?
I know him. I'm telling you, the NDC has no moral right to talk about corruption and scandals.
He's sending you a message. You are not even.
I'll listen to him. The 3.6 million, we haven't forgotten of it. You mentioned Jida this morning. 32 million Ghana cedis. Mess. You called it a mess earlier. You see, when they are talking, we haven't actually forgotten.
What happened to the Jida investigation?
Of course, yes, I will feed you in, but I'm even just chronicling the corruption.
Since you mentioned it, what happened to the Jida investigation? What happened?
Look, Annie, what will happen or what happened?
Where the people are counted, did the people account for what they put us through?
Annie,
I am
telling you, they told us that 32 million Ghana cedis, 498,000 was supposed to be used in planting 700,000 trees. And also 15 million Ghana cedis was used in gain fowl rearing. We used look at the number of trees we came to plant. We used in 2020 22 million trees. That's what we planted.
You planted where?
With how much? Oh, across
where?
Ours is not the standard trees.
I said, where are the trees?
They are everywhere.
Where?
They are everywhere.
Just show me one place. I want to go and identify.
In my house. When we're doing the green Ghana thing, look, I took one of the
where the trees are planted.
That's the most immediate one. One is in my house. The rest, when you go, I'll take you to trees that look assemblies. And when you even look through the assemblies, when you look through even parks and gardens, go and find out on the records. They will tell you that, look, the number of trees that were planted across this country, even the one President Nana Addo planted at the Jubilee House. Okay, the nearest one is at the Jubilee House. Wait, the nearest one is at the Jubilee House.
So I will come with you in my car. I'll use to measure the 2,000 trees that you planted.
We use that to plant several trees.
What is the strategy?
And for corruption,
in our tree planting, in our tree planting policy, what's the strategy? What do we want to see in the next 10 years?
Ghana.
How? What's the style? What's the approach?
You see what climate change is doing to us as a country. I mean, globally. Everyone is saying, look, green your land. Have trees planted. Take care of the trees.
So
don't fell trees.
What's the strategy?
The strategy here is
distributing seedlings.
Giving
Seedlings,
To
they
grown-
don't even
Oh.
plant it.
Let me ask
You
you.
mean- you mean-
Therefore, the ministry, the
I'll get a
ministry.
tree to
They
plant.
should.
Hold on.
use
The
chunk
Ministry of
the
Natural
seedlings
Resources, right?
they
Are you telling me that if tomorrow we say that they should give us account of the people who received the siblings,
They were
the
I'm
siblings,
number one beneficiary.
the
as a
areas,
Ghanaian.
hold on, don't worry about yourself.
Ah,
the
one
areas,
seedling
I
planted.
planted
the areas
it.
the
Not
trees
even
were
one. I'm
planted.
telling you, the most immediate
Hold
one
on.
is in my
The
house
areas
here.
the
Let's
trees
go and
were
see.
planted.
It's grown well.
The state in
My
which the
environment
trees
is
are
green.
in, and we say that the Ministry of Environment should publish that on their website. They can do
They
it.
can. Why not? Why not?
Look,
it's just
Annie,
like the roads
You
ministry
see,
having
these
this
are
for
all
us.
just
Okay.
rhetoric.
It's just like
We
the
saw,
road
in
ministry
fact,
having this for us.
Johnny's
telling
bike,
us in
he
terms of
showed
kilometers. Annie, why is she on floor?
a
I'm talking. You
number
asked me a
of
question.
seedlings
Tell
that
Prof
they
to stop this.
left,
Tell Prof to
you
let
know,
me
to
talk.
just die
When
off.
Prof,
So you see,
when
I
Prof
can-
was
I
talking,
had someone
when
who
Prof
said
was
that
talking, I didn't
seedlings
talk,
were
Annie.
brought to them in church,
Annie, when Prof
and
was
everybody
talking-
took it home.
Annie,
Some people threw
and
it away.
planted. And planted.
Don't even
there.
mind
Are you
these
in their
people.
house?
Look,
People planted the tree. Some
but
didn't
you
plant,
see,
some meaning
Annie,
others didn't plant.
Annie,
Including my
you see,
son.
the
So
irony
the way
is
you are
that
talking, it
they are
means-
saying that they are planting
Annie, why
seedlings.
is she supposed to be
Meanwhile,
talking?
the forest,
Annie, am
the
I not
trees
on the
that
floor?
have grown, they are cutting
Okay, we'll both
them
talk.
and
So what I am
engage
saying
in
is that-
galamsey. So
Annie,
what sense does it make if you destroy your forest?
There's no value in what we're
It
doing.
just doesn't make sense because
there is
the
value.
amount
When
of
it comes to the
carbon
tree
that
planting,
is value.
when it comes to the tree
full-grown
planting,
there is value.
I
And
am
I will
particularly
tell you
very
more
much
than the
interested in how that policy is actually
It's implemented.
I don't
The
get
trees
it.
were planted, they are being taken care of, and
By
when you
who?
go by people who benefited. And I'm telling
mean,
you,
it's-
look,
it's
Annie,
just
get up,
lip
let's
service.
go, and I'll show you the
It's
one
just
I took
lip
personally
service.
and
Okay,
planted.
my time is up,
The
so let me
tree
just
is
wrap it
doing
up.
very well.
I'm
A
grateful.
lot more in this country.
I'm grateful.
They
I'm
So
plant
I wish
one
to say,
tree
look, so let
and
me
they
say
cut
last
about
word.
10 of
You
it.
wouldn't allow her.
At this
What
point in
we are
time,
talking
let me
about.
wrap up. Thank
What we
you
are
for
talking
being with
about.
us
We spent
today.
less
That's how we start off the
planting
week.
over
We'll be back
22
tomorrow.
million.
Wait, good morning, Ghana. Thanks for
You see
watching.
what we are